Hello everyone, Roko here, and yeah, I messed up a recording because of dialogue, and we're going to, today we're making our final decision. Will we kill Asai? Yes or no?
Put down your sword. I am not your enemy.
Are you
You
sure
risked
about
our
that?
lives in our clan, all to hide your failure.
She has a point.
Who are you listening to?
Wait,
Have the
don't you see her right there?
hallucinations grown so strong? The voice you hear is temptation.
Wait,
It is
wait,
trying to trick
what?
you, to turn you.
And the ninja's now thinking to himself, okay, what the hell's going on now? Is she real or not?
Against
Is what he's
us
thinking at this point.
to lead you into madness. You must not let it.
I've never lied to you.
You swore an oath to save the clan. Sacrifice yourself. Reclaim your honor. And you will give us a chance to survive.
How
The
would that
clan
work, though?
Its honor, its guts, and its pride. It's not worth saving.
I will leave
Are
you
you
to
sure about that?
make your decision. Take our ancestral blade from its shrine and come when you are ready.
I feel like the ninja's probably... Like, if I were the ninja, I'd probably be thinking, okay, neither of you are making a damn bit of sense here. What the hell should I be doing then? What the hell? Is probably what I would have been thinking if I were the ninja in this situation. I've been thinking, okay, who the hell am I supposed to believe here? Because, you notice how Oro was fading away like that before when Asaya talked about hallucinations and asked him who he was talking to? Yeah! It makes it... I think that's a pretty clear indication that she's a hallucination of yours. But why you're hallucinating her is the
The
mystery.
clan bows its head in shame, as it should.
Or dread, depending on the truth.
After we kill Azai, we must cleanse the rest of the clan.
I'd rather
None of
not.
them have any honor.
Or, if you're really my hallucination, you can go fuck yourself. Or I guess I can go fuck myself for thinking this, I guess. I don't know.
They called him
Either way,
Azai the Measured, but Azai the Fallen will be his legacy.
either way, somebody's going to get fucked over hard this time. And I am not looking forward to seeing who that's going to be. And I'm pretty sure you're not either.
This is the shrine of our ancestors. I wish we could hear their advice. When you finally face Azai, don't let me down. He needs to pay for what he has done.
Let me tell you the story of the ink.
Uh-huh. This is a... I will say, I love how this ending looks. Like, I love the visuals of this ending. It's a very interesting way to bring the whole ink theme back into the game, basically. How do I know you didn't lie to me?
I'm here to help you. Rule number one, don't get me killed.
I don't know if you would have died, though.
Flowers for being dead again.
You picked the wrong guys to rob, Sensei.
Yeah, I... Notice how there's actually a scream from Kasai during that moment. Well, during that one scene. During that. Yeah, this is pretty much a trip down memory lane. And, yep, we get to hear various quotes from the game.
You and I, we can always stay together.
Okay, yeah. Okay, they slowly fade in and out. Okay. Hello, Asai. Hello, Aura. Thinking about this, okay, let's consider the facts here. One, Aura is a hallucination, but Kasai may have actually lied to us as well. Yeah, it seems like both possibilities are being presented at the same time, and it's up to us to figure out which one we believe. I'm going to show both endings anyway, though, but I am going to tell you which one I believe is actually meant to be the correct ending later, but, okay, throughout the game, we had Aura on our side. She never really helped us, though. She just showed us where to go. But Asai, however, actually, well, never really guided us, and he arguably lied to us. I say arguably because of something a thought I had, a thought that occurred to me while preparing for this episode, basically. So I'll explain what it is though after we. Well, actually, let's think for a second. Okay, let's see. You see, Asai lied to us, but Aura could be lying to us as well, or we don't know who's telling the truth, to be honest. Let's just kill Asai first to see where we go from here. And a master laid dead. Wait, hold on. Yep. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. We did just become the demon. And presumably, based on what Aura said, we're going to kill the rest of the clan, essentially. Yeah, no one gets out of that one alive, basically. And yeah, I'm skipping the credits and stuff till we pick the other ending as well, so I can have time to further discuss my thoughts on the game. And further discuss my thoughts on the ending. Skipping because we gotta get to the other ending as well. But let's talk about the ending that was there before. For the moment. Options. Settings. Actually, I don't think we can set the... I don't think we can set the dialogue to silent, so we can talk more. Or are they...
We must cleanse the rest of the planet.
Oh... Or is it because they know what I'll become if I kill Asai? Because that seems pretty likely right now, based on what's going on. And that's the plant that started all this bullshit. That's the power you get from the mark. That's the madness. That's the sacrifice. Those are the ravens. Or crows, I guess. I forgot which one they said specifically, but...
This is the shrine of our ancestors.
Uh-huh.
I wish we could hear their advice. When you finally face Azai, don't let him down. He needs to pay for what he has done.
Let me tell you the story.
Oh, trust me, lady, you're not gonna like what I'm about to do to you. Or him, I guess. Depending on what the true ending is. But, I want you guys to actually think about the stuff that happened throughout the game and the first ending we got. I want you to think about that stuff while I'm walking towards, well, my final decision.
Hours have been dead a year.
You picked the wrong guys to roll, Sensei.
Is he gone?
well, since we saw the ending of Killing Asai made us become the demon, we might as well see what the other ending is. Sorry, Aura. I hate to do this to a lady, but I must. And yeah, you probably guessed what was going to happen, based on everything that the game has been talking about, and based on the mural, which heavily resembles this particular scene. And yeah, I am definitely going to put a massive trigger warning on this episode because of the endings. Because of the ending. And yeah, it's a very depressing ending. Because basically, this is supposed to be the true ending, based on what I've read. And this essentially, why this is the true ending, is basically because this is kind of running on feudal Japan rules, where in feudal Japan, if you dishonored your clan, seppuku, aka ritualistic suicide, was the only way to cleanse your honor, at least at the time when that was a thing. And this is not something modern Japan does anymore for obvious reasons, but this is not something modern Japan would ever suggest these days for obvious reasons, basically. And yeah, it's very depressing. That no matter what you do, you're basically fucked from the start. But the thing is, the thing to consider though is, what is something I will talk about after the end credits. But basically, in one ending, you decide to kill the sensei, but become the demon from hell everyone dreads. And I'm gonna let you look at the end credits while I'm talking, by the way. And in the other ending, you kill Aura, which symbolically was you killing yourself, essentially. And yeah, when I said that that was probably supposed to be the correct ending, I mean in terms of what the story was setting up. And yeah, I had a bad feeling that's what they were setting up for. I think even during my first playthrough, I had a bad feeling that that's what they were setting up for, basically. But I think it was less explicit in the original. While in the remaster, it made it a bit more obvious that's what's going to happen. Which, again, I wish was left a little more ambiguous, like it was in the original. Unless the original was that blatant about it too, and I just didn't notice, because it was my first playthrough. But anyway, yeah. As much as I love this game's gameplay, and I love all the cool stuff you can do in the game, the ending is definitely it's definitely going to be a low point for some. But it may be a high point for others, basically, depending on how much of a history buff you are when it comes to ancient Japanese mythology. Now, nobody should be happy about the main character killing himself, obviously, but some may actually be impressed by how well they followed Eastern mythology and culture, basically, with the ending. At least ancient Japan, basically. Now, I understand that. Now, samurais and ninjas are some of the coolest warriors there is, alongside knights, Vikings, barbarians, assassins, stuff like that. But, and spies and stuff, obviously, too. But fuck seppuku. Fuck the idea of doing seppuku. I don't think suicide should ever be an option, basically. That should never be an option for yourself in real life. No matter how much you feel like you've dishonored your family, no matter how much you feel like you've dishonored your friends, no matter how much you've dishonored yourself, suicide is never going to be the correct option. Especially when you can live on to redeem yourself, or when someone has your back, basically, and wants you to come out okay, basically. Suicide is never a good option, no matter how you spin it, basically. And well, sorry, I was about to say, and thank you for creating such a solid game, even if the ending is depressing as hell. But the thing is, the ending was depressing as hell, but it was also a necessary ending for what the game wanted to tell. The story the game wanted to tell, had to be the ending, basically, for the kind of story it wanted to tell. It wanted to be a tragedy, ultimately. A tragedy, basically, that makes you question your morality with your choices, basically. And I guess you could question your morality with the way you play as well, because you can totally be a pacifist in this game if you want, or you can just be like me, who be someone like me, who basically decided to kill their enemies as efficiently as possible because I knew they were going to kill me. So I guess you could argue that the ninja was acting more in self-defense in some situations, but with Aura being a hallucination, and with the intro of the ninja stealing stuff, this may not have been as much self-defense as we thought it was. And that's the thing. The ending pretty much pulls a Sixth Sense, and basically flips the entire story on its head once you've seen the ending. And you start to think about how the pieces play, basically, into everything. Like, I say suicide is never a proper answer to anything, basically. And now, I understand that this is definitely a bit of values dissonance, and the game's developers wanted you to disagree with the morals behind the choice you made regardless. They didn't want you to fully agree with either side. They wanted you to question why you chose either side at the end of the day, because the game is meant to be a very morally gray story. There's no real obvious good or bad. There is just you and the enemies you may have either you may have chosen, or the enemies that chose you, basically. You don't know until you think about it. And think about it, yeah, it seems clear that we're pretty much the bad guy, more than anything. Which you could argue is actually somewhat accurate to how Japan viewed ninjas originally, until, I can't remember, but Gaijin Guma talked about a specific novel that was made in Japan, in feudal Japan, that depicted the ninjas as badass heroes, basically, that utilized the powers of stealth, the powers of cleverness, and had a sense of honor, basically. And you could argue, I remember saying earlier that ninjas don't really have a strict code of honor, but the truth is they did. It's just that code of honor was more about the clan itself, and not, like, I guess you can say it was more about how you live as a ninja, and not so much, I guess, the best way to say it is that ninjas and samurai had very different codes of honor, essentially. And yeah, the whole sacrificing your life to save your clan's honor is a very feudal Japan thing to do, basically, in terms of what happened back in feudal times. And also, and yeah, if you want to hear more about this kind of stuff, not always not 100% the more morbid stuff, but also some of the cool stuff involving ninja, go watch Gaijin Guma's videos. Highly recommended. But anyway, basically, this is a bit of an East versus West thing, because the Western perspective is vengeance is the correct option for what happened. And in the Eastern perspective, sacrificing yourself to preserve your clan's honor is the right option. Basically, like, it heavily depends on what perspective you view, how you view the story, or if you want to agree with the story's views or not. Which is kind of an interesting but also conflicting situation, because I really don't agree with the idea that suicide is the answer to any situation, basically. But at the same time, I understand that was considered the answer in feudal Japan in some situations, as much as I disagree with that decision. And as much as I love ninjas and samurais, I hate the very concept of ritualistic suicide, basically, in terms of, like, I hate that they did that stuff like that, basically, just because they felt like they dishonored people, basically. And yeah, that's kind of hitting close to home with more modern suicides, where suicide victims basically feel like they dishonored people they loved, and they felt death was the only punishment suited for them, basically. When really, there were like a million other ways they could have solved the problem that didn't involve suicide, basically. And yeah, this is definitely a game not meant for children, basically. And I don't know if it's really meant for teens either, basically, because of some of the dark themes. But then again, I think it's important to have games that depict dark themes, basically, so we can come to a better understanding of how we feel about those themes, essentially. Especially if a game actually wants you to think about whether something was truly the right decision or not, or makes you wonder, did I do the right thing with the choice I made? Or is there something I could have done different? Like, and if there is, how? Like, the game makes you ask questions like, is there a possible way you could have avoided either option? Now, here's my personal theory. What if the ninja purposely made it look like... What if the ninja purposely scarred himself to damage the symbol? To damage the tattoo on his body? Will that rid him of the madness? Like, could he basically fake his own suicide and make a shallow slash on his chest to scar himself and ruin the tattoo, basically, so the effects dissipate? Or would the effects still be there because of the ink itself and not the tattoo? That's something I did think about, basically, when I was trying to record this before. And again, this is a wonderfully made game in a mechanics standpoint, in a visual standpoint, and even from an audio standpoint. And yeah, the story was actually pretty endearing generally. Too bad it doesn't really have a happy ending, though. But if that doesn't bother you, play it. Absolutely freaking play it. It is an amazing game in terms of gameplay. And this is the game that made me go, huh, maybe stealth games aren't that bad after all. Because I actually hated stealth games before I played this game. That should tell you something about how good this game is. But anyway, okay, there's gonna be one more episode after this. But it's gonna be in the past as we look at the younger days of Dasan, the ink artist, and see how powerful see how much of a ninja he was. Is he a better ninja than our ninja? Would he have made the same choices we made? No one knows. Until we find out next time. See you guys then, and happy gaming. And I should say something else. Well, no matter how stained with blood a ninja is, one fact will always remain true. A real ninja wears the blue of the night sky. See you guys next time.